But I'll start out the show, saying first off, congrats to the Boston Celtics for finally getting over the hump after however many years and tries. They finally
Like
did it,
six,
even
six,
though
7
I
years.
feel like this was like a here championship, here take it. But how y'all feel about the finals as a whole?
Uh, no, nothing.
You don't feel nothing?
I don't care.
The boy said no AD, no care.
Exactly. Like, who cares, right? Like, really? Nah, but I'm happy I'm happy for them. I'm good. I said they was gonna win in six. They won in five, so uh, I was over the curve. If that makes sense. But no, I'm happy for Jalen Brown. I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
all of them, but like Jalen Brown for sure. I don't think he got enough credit, like just the past few years, until maybe recently he got a little more credit. But I think now with the Finals MVP and the Conference Finals MVP, I think
Right.
people actually start like understanding that he's like that for real.
And Georgia boy, and I saw today on First Take, Stephen A was he at the beginning of the segment he said he was a top 15 player, and then he goes, "Wait, he's a champion now. I might have to put him in the top five." Can't come on, like all right, how, normal people, how are we going to do this assessment? Because what he said was crazy.
Yeah, like I mean, top 15 is probably even a argument. I mean, I could see. I'm not. I would have to go through the list, but like top five is crazy.
That's great. I'm talking about just because I mean Finals MVP, Conference Finals MVP. Like in a couple years, they would look at it and be like, "Why would he consider that back then?" But as of in the present, from what we see, nah,
You
not
taking
yet at least.
you taking Jalen Brown over Shea?
No,
At this moment, I would say no because I would rather build my team around Shea than JB.
Shea
Hmm.
just better than him, bro.
Hmm?
Shea just better than him. That's just what it is.
I
Uh,
ain't gonna lie, he is an overall better player, but
no, I
I
think
think
Jalen Brown's
I
a better
think that
overall player.
that dog carried JB a little like he carried him to new heights like every year. He
Jalen
just willing to do more.
Shea is better, yeah, but I think Jalen Brown's more overall because you got to include if you include defense, Jalen Brown's better defender.
Exactly. I
And
still want to say Shea is better than me personally, but I can see the argument.
I always believe that if Jalen Brown got the shots that Jason Tatum got, he would average more. He would be averaging what Jason Tatum is usually averaging.
He
Now,
definitely played. He
Never agree
definitely
with that.
outplayed himself. Like the progression from when we first started this podcast, and was it you or Tobias that called him a top five shooting guard? And I was like, y'all crazy. The
uh,
progression from that
mhm.
moment to now has been, I
I
gotta
think
give it to him. I ain't got
he was
nothing
a top five.
negative to say.
He was a top five guard at that time, though, or shooting
At
guard
the
at that time.
time, because I think the argument was him or James Harden, and I was like, y'all tripping. But
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
then James Harden folded on you.
I'm talking about literally the next week.
You had to wave a white flag.
And
uh,
now like he just keep getting better every year. So
but I will say, Jason Tatum, I do like that when he wasn't shooting well, he was passing, which I haven't seen from his game until the finals. Like Pat, he was doing very good at passing the ball, which was good because that was really their biggest thing. They never really had a point guard, to be honest. So if he could have been doing that from the start, they probably would have won three championships by now.
really, that's a problem with having like wings being like your best ball handlers and stuff like that. Is like because they can do they can be a playmaker, but they don't really want to because they want to score.
Yeah, I think Drew helped with that a little bit. Like he was able to slow down the pace a little more because like Marcus Smart was there, but Marcus Smart wasn't a ball handler really. He was a defending guard.
A short a short point guard. That's why he played the position.
Yeah, but what are y'all thoughts on the finals in general
I think,
or the Celtics? I guess. Let me go
I
back.
think, I think it. I don't. Did we talk about this about how much it means for like? Yeah, we did talk about this. The individual players. I think everything that we said originally kind of just came to fruition. Everybody is, um, I guess, validated, and I guess maybe not so much Jason Tatum though, just because he didn't play like himself in the finals. To what we typically are used to seeing from him. So maybe he still has a little bit more to prove, but I think everybody else kind of just proved himself. I think Drew proved himself for sure. I think Jaylen Brown for sure proved himself in that big contract he signed. Um, I think Joe Mazzulla actually proved that he was like a good coach. I know a lot of people like questioned him a lot, but because Udoka got him to the finals, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And then Missoula got him right back, and then actually finally got him over the hump. So I think I'm happy that I don't know if we're in an era yet, a new era, but like uh, a real team building type of thing. I I hope that we are, but I don't know if I'm ready to say that. But
I
like I
don't
said, I
think
hope.
I don't think we will be until all the older stars retire. 'Cause they're gonna keep switching. Like
No, I don't know.
Paul George not gonna be on the Clippers next year. You never know with Harden. KD might not be on the Suns next year. Until they retire, it's still gonna be that same switch team mentality, I think.
I mean, they can do the switch teams, but first off, all them boys old.
They got to
At
win too, though.
basketball
That's the
old.
thing. They have to actually win.
Mhm.
And two, as we saw the hot teams in the playoffs were the team building teams. Celtics, Thunder, Minnesota, Denver.
Yeah.
Those are the
I mean,
teams,
the Mavs are like that too. I mean, they got Kyrie, but like that's the only person that really got out of that wasn't really drafted.
right? Even though they try to play top heavy by relying on just Luka and Kyrie.
No, I
Like that's
think
what the point I was about to
I mean,
make with.
offensively, but they had to though.
no, I think the
I mean,
Mavs.
they have to, but like that's where the team thing comes in
I think
because
the Mavs. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
are you good? That's where the team thing come in because as you saw, especially last night, the Celtics, Tatum and Brown both start off cold, and it didn't even matter. Like no other team with two superstars can say that or do that.
I
So
feel like
that's why I feel like the team era is already here.
But I feel like the Mavs didn't even, they're not really a team. They're not like a built from the draft team. They were a team that were kind of just rambling. And then they got Luca, and Luca just became a star. So if you want to say built from the draft because it got Luca, like Tim Hardaway wasn't drafted by them and like all that. They had Chris Tapps, they had all these players come in and out. Jalen
Well,
Brunson,
I wouldn't say that
I think
in
Luca
order to be a
just
good team,
took him over
like
the
a
top.
good full team, they have to all be drafted there. Like that Warriors thing, like we ain't gonna see that all the time. So like what I mean with the team is like that you don't rely like if your best player or best two players don't have their game that night, you can still win. Like that's what I mean. Like full like team basketball era. Like they were comparing the Celtics to like the Pistons or like the '04 Pistons. Like seeing stuff like that. I think that's here.
Yeah.
And I think it even started even last year, or shoot, you can really say with the Bucks, because most of the Bucks team was pretty much they went through that process of like you drafted your star or your best player or best two players, and well, Middleton wasn't drafted there, but he went there young. But basically just build your team up, and then you finally got over the hump. Denver, we already know how Denver is, and then we had the Warriors, of course, again, with the same core, and then this year. So hopefully, hopefully we get like a more natural type of thing going.
Yeah, yeah. More of that. No more super teams. No more this star. Like
I
I
don't
can
I
see
don't hate
one star. Go ahead.
I don't hate super teams. I don't hate not like OD super teams like KD Warriors. We don't need those kind of things. But
Mm-mm.
like stars on teams, maybe like I don't know, like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, like those caliber of players,
Right.
talent together would any more than that's probably like I don't know if I'm really
Well,
digging it.
see, like I got a good example. Like, say the Sixers go get Paul George. Like, he's a superstar, but it's like not OD like super team. we got this from the start, 73 wins, something like that. Like they still gonna have to play a full season because like that team, if they added him, wouldn't be just overpowering. But it's a good piece to build and compete.
Yeah, I think Paul George is one of those players that's like, with his injury history and like him folding sometimes, he's really in the same. He's really kind of like in the same narrative boat as Tatum. Like nobody really take him seriously. But yeah, I agree with you. If he went to the Sixers, I don't think it would be OD because I mean, again, their core is still there, other than Ben Simmons got out of there. But I mean, their core is basically the same.
So
But y'all, what you about to say?
I guess to go back to like the Jason Tatum thing, what do y'all think he needs to do for him to be considered up there as like the best in the league?
The best in the league. I mean, I think the best in the league, like a top 2, 3 player, or best in the league to where like I already think he's one of the best in the league already. I just think when it come down to it, he that not having that dog matter, bro. Like I think that's what it boiled down to. That not having that dog matter. And we're like, okay, Jason, because when you name the top 3, 4 players, you're like, yeah, he's gonna be right when it's time to be right. And it's like you never really know with Jason Tatum. I hate to say it, but like a Finals MVP, like maybe not Finals MVP. That might be a stretch, but like that's what we did
League
to Steph.
MVP or at least.
We did that to Steph for a long time, bro. I mean, not necessarily me, but a lot of people did.
And you got to get a league MVP. Like, I mean, I get he already made a what 3 or 4 first team all NBA, but that didn't equate to a championship. Now he got the championship out the way. He ain't got to worry about that. If he go on a tear next season and win MVP, then I'll be all right. He might be top 3 because right now I look at him as like a top 5 to 7, somewhere in
Yeah.
that range.
I
Time.
I feel like it's the narrative on him is like kind of stuck. Like he won't be able to pass that narrative to get him
He
the
can.
top
He
3
can.
player.
Like if
Because
he goes out there and starts like, I don't know, because I mean, some people, some players get like a kick from a ring. Other players, they just get their ring and be like, okay, I did it.
I
So
think
I think it all depends on how he moves forward from here.
he would have to play well in big series against big name players.
Yeah, like he has to show up when it's time for him to show up.
So
Like
Like
a play if
his
they play,
ranking next year won't matter until after the playoffs.
yeah.
not necessarily for me.
The regular
Um,
season won't matter for him.
if they roll
If he puts up,
if they roll like they did this year, like the regular season, yeah, it's not gonna matter to the playoff. But like if they're just not as good and he does his thing and he's like top 3, 4 in MVP voting like he was this year, but like you can see it's like a jump for him, then I think it'll change a little bit. But I mean, if they do the same thing they did this year, then it's just gonna be
yeah,
the same.
I agree.
I mean, I don't know how
So they
much
need to
better
be they need to be a little bit worse for him to be good.
basically they got to be worse and he got to be better. I don't. It's crazy, but I just how it came.
All right, I'm gonna extend the time a little bit here because we didn't even get to the other team. So real quick, one, what does this mean for the Mavs players? And two, this ain't even got nothing really to do with the Mavs, but y'all can answer whichever one first. Do y'all think this was probably one of the worst finals we've seen in the past couple years, maybe like 5, 10 years?
To answer your first question, I mean again, I think Kyrie Irving he didn't play well in this finals, but I think regardless of what happened to him, his where he stands in the NBA and all time, nothing was gonna change for him.
Even with the finals win,
Yeah,
if
I
they
don't
would have
think
won.
yeah, it wouldn't
If
change
they would have won,
unless,
yeah. I mean,
unless he
it
would
would have
have
been the
won.
same. It would have been the same. They'd be like, oh, he did it twice. But like,
Unless he would have won MVP, Finals MVP. But I
So,
don't.
all right, real quick, how do y'all view Kyrie? Like, since y'all said his legacy kind of already stamped, how do y'all view him right now? If he was
I mean,
retired today, how would he be
we talked
viewed?
about this last time. But he was just like Jalen said, he's just a Robin. So I think that's all he's gonna be looked at as he's never gonna be able to be the best player on a championship team, but he is probably the second best player on any team.
Yeah.
I mean, I just kind of suck. Like 2 chips and him being a Robin just gets him looked at as what like a what? In this era, what would you not era, but in these last couple years, what would you say he's a what top what in the league?
I mean, as far as point guard for this era, I mean, he doesn't. I don't think he falls out of like 5. If we talk about like this era, like since he's been here, um, like he's up there. He just settled so quickly that he just can't do anything else to move it. I think
Man,
is the problem that because I mean he came in a #1 pick. LeBron went there. They won immediately. Then he tried to do
Yeah,
his own thing. I mean, they went on those finals run. He went to 3 straight finals with them.
he had a
So
high so fast.
yeah, like
yeah.
It kind
I
of hurt.
think
It kind of hurt him.
I think I'm trying to I'm trying to get a comparison. Um, first person I came. Nah, I was about to say AD, but AD just won. Like if AD didn't never won that championship, it would be sort of the same thing. Like you came in and like you were projected to be one of the best like bigs in the league, and then you just went up and you plateaued, and then nothing happened. Um, luckily he got his ring, so like I think it all matters when you really hit your prime and when you really win. He did it so early. I just don't think he can do anything else. Especially like he's tried to. Like
Yeah,
he's tried and failed.
he had a
So
rise to start him real fast because he was the team was awful before LeBron got there, and then LeBron got there, it immediately became the second best team in the league, and
right.
he was being noticed a lot, and he did all the final stuff, and then like he had a whole career path in the span of like 3 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But overall, I don't know. Is he first ballot right now? They're probably not first ballot right now. What a ring, I think he would have been first ballot, no doubt.
All
Is
right.
Drew
Real
more
fast
Hall of
before we
Famer
move
than
on.
Kyrie?
A more of a Hall of Famer? Nah, because the NBA just on narratives, he's not.
Okay.
On paper maybe, but
On paper, maybe. All right, real quick before we move on. I know I asked a second question about the finals as a whole, but just real quick about Luka. Does this hurt his best player in the league chances?
nah.
Finals.
Nah,
Yeah,
the Celtics were better. In my opinion, it doesn't because I mean the Celtics were just clearly better than them.
I think it does because the only way for him to have been the best player in the league was to win championship.
Oh, I don't think he was the best player in the league. I'm saying this as like he doesn't go down for me. Like I think he like top 4. I don't think he goes any lower than that though.
You don't think he top 2?
He said best. He said best player in the league.
I don't think he's the best player in the league. That was where my answer was from. I don't think he's the best player in the league regardless.
You don't
If
think he
he,
top 2?
I would probably say top 3 on a bad day, 2 on a good day, but he's not #1.
I see that. And he is only 25, so he got plenty of time. Well, I don't know. He did go pro 10 years ago, so he
I mean,
might.
he's in basketball age. He's a vet, I guess, but
Yeah,
age
that's what
wise,
I'm saying. Like most NBA players when they 15, they freshman in high school. Like he been pro, so like I wonder if that's gonna like affect him as he gets older. But we'll see. We're gonna move on, but I did see a tweet that said this year's finals had the least oral of any finals, and that's how I feel because I ain't gonna lie, this was the most uninteresting finals that I can remember.
Nobody likes a blowout though. Like if it went to 7, it would be way more interesting, and everybody was playing how we expected them to play. Like I mean, because we were all excited for it, but it
Yeah,
just happened to be really one sided.
the playoffs peaked with that Timberwolves and Nuggets series.
Yeah, for
That
sure,
that was a highlight.
for sure.
because the
All
Nuggets
right.
yeah, as the juggernaut, so it was like, can anybody beat them? And so
Yeah,
I mean, they were a juggernaut, but remember, a couple of us were like, they've been here multiple times, well, not the finals, but Eastern Conference and finals kind of collectively, and they ain't done nothing. So that's why I picked the Mavs to win because I was like, they hot, so
no, I
they
was talking
might
about the
can.
Nuggets,
Oh, I thought you were talking about something. My fault.
but
But
I think it's like my tweet said that you had liked, man. I think it's just we had so much the NBA counted so much on Steph and LeBron that now when those two are not really a part of it anymore, like neither one of them really had a real shot this year. I feel like if the Lakers would have beat the Nuggets, they would have had a shot. But because they had to face the Nuggets, they had no real shot. But they focused too much on them two, so now and they didn't bring up anybody else along the way.
And Ant crashed out.
I
Yeah,
was just about to say he could have been the one to bring the ratings back up. And
yeah, and then I think last year or the last couple of years was Ja, but then Ja did it to himself. But
Yeah.
so and I think that's kind of just what happened. Then there were no narratives going back into that basketball. NBA is fed off of narratives. There are no narratives going into this finals outside of maybe Kyrie going back to Boston.
yeah,
But
that's all.
he didn't play into it, so nobody at the end nobody really cared. If he would have played into it a little more, it would have been more.
He should have been on his villain stuff. He might would have played a little better.